Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed at 1,000 subscribers. I'll be posting a special video. The tracker hits the table so hard it jumps once. My name is Lily and I am 29 and I freeze. My husband Mark stays standing with his fingers spread on the edge. He watches my face like he already knows the answer. He just does not trust that I will give it. He nudges the thing toward me with one quick push. A small gray square sits there with one blinking light. It looks cheap and still feels heavier than it should. He says I should wear it so he can relax. Relax from what exactly, I do not ask yet. Back then I thought I was overreacting to a gadget, of course I did. Now I see how that moment stacked every red flag. He drags out a chair and sits way too straight. His phone rests beside his hand and the screen waits. He says this is not optional and we both know it. I touch the tracker with one finger like it might burn. The plastic feels cool and pretends to be harmless here. Mark leans back a little and folds his arms tight. You work late and forget to text and I stay awake. This fixes everything according to him anyway. I stare at him and try to read the real threat. You want to know if I am cheating? Just say it. My voice comes out light and almost joking and absolutely shaky. He does not smile and his jaw works like he is chewing. If you had nothing to hide, you would not jump there. There it is again, that twist that still makes me angry now. He turns my suspicion into proof I am already guilty. I laugh once too loud and the sound sticks between us. You hear yourself right now? I ask him that slowly. I sound braver in my memory than I did there. Mark leans forward again and taps the tracker near my hand. Either you wear this or you can move out tonight. His voice stays calm and that makes it land harder. My stomach drops and I stare at the wall behind him. I know if I walk away now, everything explodes later. So I do the stupid thing, the one that felt safe then. I pick it up and the strap dangles over my wrist. The plastic hums against my skin, in my imagination already. Fine, I will wear it if this really matters that much. I hear myself bargaining away something I will not name yet. Mark stands and comes behind my chair and reaches for my waist. He clips the tracker to my belt loop with slow, careful fingers. His thumb stays there a second too long and my shoulders lock. Now no one can hurt you out there, he breathes that line. I nod and hope he never realizes how much he scares me. Later that night, I watch him install the app on his phone. A tiny circle appears with my initials already sitting in the center. He pinches the screen and zooms close and grins like a winner. See, now I can relax and now I will know you are safe. I say nothing and pretend that dot is not a future cage. My phone lights up at the red light with his message. Why are you stopped right there? The text glares from the lock screen. I feel the clip of the tracker dig into my hip. Traffic crawled all morning, but now I feel completely exposed. He is not in the car, yet somehow rides beside me. I thumb back one line, trying to keep it casual. Light is long, I just grabbed my water from the floor. 3 dots appear before the light even flips to green. You are not in your usual lane, that one lands like a punch. Back then I called it creepy and still brushed it off. In the parking lot, I barely click my seat belt free. Another alert vibrates and shows a little map with a pin. Send me a picture of your office door so I can calm. He wants proof that the dot matches the building I claim. So I pose by the silly door and swallow my protest. Inside, my first ping of the day hits before my coffee. Share your schedule, he adds a smile emoji that feels like teeth. My coworker Jenna glances over when I groan at my screen. Everything okay? She leans on my desk and waits way too long. I tell her it is just my clingy husband and she laughs. By mid-morning he has texted about my car, my desk, my break. You left your floor for 8 minutes, that one makes my hands shake. I had just gone to the supply closet to grab more paper. He sends another screenshot with a bright line tracking that short walk. I realize he is watching in real time instead of actually working. At lunch, Jenna invites me out for tacos with a group. I almost say yes before my phone buzzes again against my leg. Where are you going now? The question lands before I stand up. I tell him we might grab food, and he answers instantly with rules. You can eat there but be back in 30, no extra stops. So I sit at the edge of the table and watch the clock. Everyone else lingers and scrolls and talks, and I chew fast. My phone flashes another warning at 27 minutes out of nowhere. You need to start heading back. It reads like a command from a boss. I rush away from my own friends because of a blinking dot. The drive home that evening turns into a quiz I never agreed to. Why did you exit there? Pops up as I merge across lanes. I grip the wheel and answer with my thumb at the next stop. He calls the second the light turns green and my heart jumps. Do not text while driving. His voice snaps like I am a teenager. That night he scrolls through the app history while I wash dishes. You were at the store for 18 minutes. He reads the number out loud. I tell him I waited behind a long line and he snorts. Or you just turned your phone over and talked to someone. That is the first time I quietly screen capture the whole exchange. Once I miss one check-in because I pass out after work. When I wake up, there are 30 notifications stacked on my screen. Answer me right now. You think I am stupid. Who are you with? The last one reads, I swear I will cancel your card tomorrow. I sit on the edge of the bed and realize this is leverage. A few days in, he starts finishing my route out loud before I speak. You hit the interstate, then the ramp, then that side street by the bank. I never told him about the side street, and it prickles under my skin. He shrugs and mumbles that he just knows my patterns from memory. Later I will learn why his memory is that sharp and I hate it. By the end of that week, I check the app more than he does. I stare at my little dot and plan every move around it. I time bathroom breaks, detours, and even gas stops like I owe him data. I tell myself this is temporary, that it keeps the peace for now. I have no idea yet that the tracker is the soft version. I unclip the tracker in the locker room and my pulse jumps. The little thing drops into the corner of the metal shelf. For a second I just stare at it sitting there alone. Then I shut the door fast like I am hiding a crime. I tell myself it is only for one short lunch. Jenna pops her head around the doorway and knocks on the frame. Come on, everyone is already downstairs. She bounces on her heels. 2 minutes, I shove my phone in my pocket and force a smile. I do not text him that I moved the device off my waist. That tiny choice feels louder than anything I actually say. In the elevator, I can feel the phantom weight still on my hip. My brain keeps trying to reach for something that is not there. I keep my hand away from my side on purpose and stare ahead. My pulse stays way too high for a normal lunch break. Some part of me already knows this will blow up. The restaurant is loud and messy, and I should enjoy it. People argue about orders and tease each other and share fries. I laugh at the right times and nod in the right spots. My phone stays face down on the table the whole time. Every ding from someone else sounds like it belongs to me. Halfway through my second taco, I cannot take it anymore. I flip the screen over and check for his name. Nothing, no texts, no missed calls, no threats in all caps. That silence almost feels worse than the constant buzzing. It means the storm is building somewhere I cannot see. On the walk back, Jenna loops her arm through mine and grins. See, the world did not end just because you ate out. I give a weak snort and call it a tiny miracle. In my head I picture that tracker still in the locker. In his head he probably thinks I never moved. The moment I step off our floor, my phone erupts in my hand. 3 missed calls, 7 messages, 1 voicemail still recording. The latest text sits on top like a siren. Why did your location shut off for 13 minutes? My throat tightens and the hallway feels way too short. I duck into a supply closet and hit call before I can think. He answers on the first ring with air already crackling. Where were you? The words come out flat and sharp. Bathroom, lost signal, chill. I lean on the wall and close my eyes. Even I can hear that my voice does not sound casual. Bathroom does not knock you offline that long. Something bangs on his end. You turned it off on purpose. He breathes fast like he ran stairs. I picture him pacing with his phone in front of his face. I did not turn anything off, the app probably glitched. I know how weak that sounds even while I say it. He goes quiet long enough that I pull the phone away once. I check if we disconnected and his name still sits up there. Stay right there, he finally snaps out. Do not move an inch. The line goes dead before I can toss any fake apology. That command crawls under my skin and stays there. I step back into the hall and try to act normal. My hands shake when I pick up the folder on my desk. Every second stretches while I wait for whatever comes next. Jenna peeks over the cubicle wall when she sees my face. You look like you saw a ghost, she whispers, eyes wide. Before I answer her, my desk phone rings with a sharp buzz. The receptionist sounds half amused and half nervous in my ear. There is a guy in the lobby asking for you by name. My stomach drops so hard I grab the edge of the desk. Tell him I am in a meeting. I blurt out, already standing. Too late, he just walked towards security. Her voice drops even lower. He looks really upset. Should I call someone? I mumble that I will be right there and hang up fast. Jenna trails behind me as I head for the elevator. My legs feel like they belong to someone braver than me. The doors open to the lobby, and I see him immediately. He stands near the front desk with his phone raised in his hand. His eyes lock on me the second I step out of the elevator. Every conversation around us fades like someone turned a dial down. I know every coworker in the line of sight is watching. He strides over and holds the screen up to my face. My dot on his app is blank, an empty circle with a warning. Explain this, he demands, voice low enough to still carry. You disappeared. Do you get how insane that is to see? He is shaking like he is the one who barely escaped danger. I force a laugh that dies halfway out of my throat. I went to lunch, maybe the locker blocked the signal a little. You left the device somewhere in this building, he cuts in. Where? Show me right now, his fingers clamp around my wrist. I feel every curious eye on the grip he refuses to loosen. We walk back toward the elevator with him half dragging my arm. Jenna hovers behind us like a weak shield that might disappear. Mark, you're making a scene, I hiss under my breath. Good, he shoots back without even looking at me. Maybe embarrassment will remind you what loyalty looks like. On our floor, he marches straight to the locker room door. Open it, he plants himself in the doorway like a guard. My hands fumble with the combination because they just will not cooperate. When the metal door swings out, the tracker sits right there. The sight of it hits me harder than any insult. He snatches it up and clips it back onto my waistband. His fingers press into my hip with far too much emphasis. There, back where it belongs, his breath brushes my ear. If you remove it again without asking me, we are done. The word done hangs between us longer than the touch. I pull away and straighten my shirt with stiff movements. Jenna pretends to fix her hair in the mirror beside us. Her eyes flick to mine once, quick and worried, and then gone. I can feel apology pour out of me even though I hate it. Sorry, I just needed 1 hour without buzzing. He stares at my reflection instead of my actual face. 1 hour for you is an eternity for someone who cares. He says it like he just gave a heartfelt speech on devotion. In my chest, something small folds in on itself quietly. I know I will replay that line later and hear the threat. The drive home after work comes with silence that feels crowded. He keeps his phone on the center console with the app open. Every time we stop, he glances at the screen before the road. You have any more surprises planned? He asks, not really asking. I mutter no and count down the blocks until our driveway. That night I lie awake long after he falls into heavy sleep. His phone rests on the bedside table within easy reach. For a minute I consider unlocking it while he snores. Then I picture the explosion if he caught me hovering there. I stay still instead and hate myself for that choice. Around midnight I get up and tell myself I need water. Really, I need air and distance from that little plastic clip. In the garage, the concrete chills my bare feet through thin socks. I crouch by the front wheel and scan every inch like a detective. Something in me whispers that the real problem is not on my belt. At first I see nothing except dirt and road grime and old gum. I almost give up and tell myself I am being dramatic. Then my fingers brush a smooth rectangle tucked behind the bumper. It holds tight with a magnet strong enough to pull my nail. My heart slams so loudly I am sure a neighbor can hear it. I pry the thing loose and it drops into my palm. No logo I recognize, just a small dark box with a tiny window. I flip it over and spot a blinking point in the corner. Not bright, just steady, like it never needed my permission. This is not the same brand as the one on my waist. I stand there in the garage with both devices on me. One clipped to my jeans from today, one resting in my hand. He did not panic because a gadget glitched inside my locker. He panicked because his backup system caught something he could not explain. I realize he has been tracing my car long before he asked for anything. I press both trackers against my palms and my hands sweat. One clipped to my jeans, one still warm from the bumper. For a second I picture throwing them in the trash. Then I see his face in my head and my stomach flips. I snap the car one back under the frame like nothing changed. I walk inside with the other still hooked at my waist. He glances up from his phone and studies my hips first. Garage light was on, he mutters, fingers tapping his screen. Thought I heard something out there, his eyes never leave me. I shrug, say I took the trash out, hope my voice behaves. He accepts it too quickly, and that scares me even more. If he doubted me, he would be in the driveway already. That is when it hits me, clear and ugly. He trusts the devices more than he trusts my mouth. If I want out, I have to beat the gadgets. That night I wait until he showers and his phone lies unattended. I unlock my own and open our messages with shaking hands. Every insult, every accusation, every demand for proof sits in rows. I start capturing them one by one, thumb racing the timer. Screen save, email to a new address I created at lunch. Seeing them stacked in that inbox hits harder than reading them live. On the phone they felt like separate fights, random and chaotic. In a list they look like a pattern with no breaks. I almost close the app and pretend I never saw it. Instead I keep going until my eyes blur and my chest aches. In bed he throws an arm over my middle and holds tight. The tracker digs into my skin where his hand presses down. "You were good today," he mumbles, drifting towards sleep. "Not like that stunt at work last week." His fingers tighten briefly. I lie still and count his breaths and plan around both devices. The next morning I move before his alarm chimes for the first time. In the living room, I slide the car tracker behind the television stand. I wedge it near the outlet so the signal still hits the street. The app will show the vehicle parked right where he expects it. Then I stand there and listen for footsteps like I just robbed myself. At work I fake an urgent cramp and ask to leave midday. My boss waves me off with a quick nod toward the door. In the restroom I lock the stall and open the tracking app. My dot blinks at the office, the car icon glows near our place. Good, his story and mine finally match for once. On the drive home I rehearse the next layer of the lie. I call him from the car before he has reason to worry. "Head is killing me," I murmur, letting my voice drag. "I am going to lie down when I get in." He hums, tells me he will grab takeout, tells me to rest. At the house I drop my purse on the couch and move fast. The waist tracker lands next to a throw pillow near the television. I bury it under a blanket, but not enough to block the signal. For the app, I am curled up right there hiding from a migraine. For reality, I am booking an attorney from my browser at the counter. Googling words like controlling spouse almost makes me laugh out loud. It feels too dramatic, too daytime talk show for my life. Then I scroll and read description after description that matches him. Constant monitoring, isolation, threats disguised as concern. A phrase jumps out and sticks like glue in my head. Coercive control, that one makes my chest burn and my face hot. I never used those syllables for us, not even privately. Seeing them on the screen beside tracking apps and threats hits hard. I click a local law firm link before I can chicken out. My hands tremble so much I misdial the number twice. When the receptionist answers, my mouth goes completely dry. I turn on the faucet to cover my nerves and lower my voice. I want to talk to someone about a controlling partner. The word partner tastes ridiculous after everything, but I still use it. She offers a slot tomorrow around lunch and I grab it. "Do you feel safe tonight?" she asks gently before hanging up. I stare at the couch where my metal leash pretends I am resting. "I am okay for now," I answer, though that line stretches thin. She reminds me I can call the hotline number on their website. I nod even though she cannot see me and end the call. When Mark walks in later, he heads straight for the television. His eyes flick to his phone, then to me on the far chair. "You moved from the couch," he comments, glancing between both spots. "Head feels better," I answer, holding an ice pack to my temple. He checks the app again, satisfied that my dot never left home. That night I move cash into old sneakers while he showers. Every tip from work, every stray bill from my wallet goes in. I lace them tight and push them to the back of the closet. It feels childish and huge at the same time, like a teenager stunt. In my mind, I am already running in them towards somewhere else. I also move my passport into my work bag with a shaking breath. Not because I plan to flee the country or anything wild. Just because it is easier to keep important things near my desk. At least that is what I tell myself while I slide it in. Really, I do not trust leaving anything valuable inside that house. The next day starts with the usual barrage on my phone dashboard. "Where are you? Who is on your floor? When will you be home?" Every ping adds to the file I am building in the background. I answer each one calmly, politely, like my whole job is reassuring him. Inside I am counting down to the appointment instead of the clock. Around 11, I message him that my head still hurts from yesterday. "I might clock out early and nap again," I type, fingers steady. He reminds me to keep my phone loud and near the couch. The word couch almost makes me laugh, almost makes me choke. He has no idea I am about to walk into a law office instead. I leave work with my tote, my documents, my stomach in knots. In the car lot, I sit for a minute and watch the screen. My dot overlapped with the office, his little icon across town. I switch off my engine, grab my bag, and lock the door. Then I order a ride share from the curb a block away. That small choice feels like jumping into cold water with clothes on. I am technically still going home because my trackers will show that. My body, though, gets into a stranger's sedan heading downtown. The driver asks how my day is going and I choke out busy. I stare out the window and wait for my phone to explode. It does not ring once during the whole ride, which feels surreal. I keep the screen bright on my lap, watching for his name. Instead, I see my email app and those saved messages stacked calmly. It looks like someone else's nightmare, not mine, not yet. I know better now writing this, but back then I still spun it. The law office sits in a bland building, nothing dramatic at all. I check in with the front desk and give only my first name. A woman in a blazer invites me back with a soft nod. "Tell me what is happening," she says after we sit down. I realize I have no clue where to even begin. So I do not start with love or vows or any of it. I start with the plastic clip on my waistband and the car box. I talk about screenshots, surprise lobby visits, threat messages at midnight. I mention the garage discovery and hearing him recite my route. My voice shakes, but once it starts, it will not stop. She takes quick notes and occasionally raises one eyebrow at her pad. When I run out of words, she reads a few phrases back. Tracking devices, financial threats, intense monitoring, public confrontations. Hearing it grouped like that makes my throat close up. She leans forward, elbows on her knees, and looks straight at me. "This is not normal jealousy," she says, steady and direct. "This is a pattern of control that courts take seriously." She calls it coercive behavior and explains what that means in practice. Protection orders, documentation, safety planning, all those heavy expressions. Each one lands like a brick I both dread and weirdly welcome. I tell her I am not sure I am ready for all that. She nods and does not push, which somehow makes me trust her more. "Then we build options," she suggests, sliding a legal pad closer. "We get your evidence in one place and prepare an exit if needed." The word exit makes my hands go cold right down to the fingers. She helps me organize my screenshots into folders on a flash drive. We talk about locking my credit, watching joint accounts, monitoring my phone. She warns me that trackers can be hidden almost anywhere in a vehicle. I tell her about the one I found and moved inside. She urges me not to touch it again without a clear plan. Before I leave, she hands me a simple card with 2 numbers. Her direct line and a 24-hour hotline for domestic crises. I stare at the word domestic and feel my stomach twist again. I am not getting hit, I blurt like I need to clarify. She does not flinch, just looks tired in a way that understands. Control can be just as dangerous, she replies, voice low but firm. Sometimes more because people excuse it for years. I feel my face burn because that is exactly what I did. I laughed it off, called him protective, called myself overdramatic. Sitting there, I finally admit out loud that I am scared. On the ride back, I use the same trick in reverse. The driver drops me 1 block from my street near a gas station. From there, I walk home slowly, rehearsing my sick act again. My trackers still show home, peaceful and still, exactly as planned. My pulse hammers anyway like I just robbed a bank. Inside, the waste device still lies under the blanket on the couch. The car one rests hidden behind the television where I left it. I sit in the exact spot my digital self has been resting all day. When he calls a few minutes later, I answer with a groan. Still rough, I mumble, TV on low for background noise. Stay off your feet, he advises, voice sweet and smug. I will grab dinner on my way from the gym. He talks about his workout plans while my bag hides legal paperwork. I let him ramble, tossing in small noises at the right beats. Every sound out of my mouth feels like a lie in a rehearsal. That night after he falls asleep, I text my sister for the first time. We have chatted about memes and birthdays, not serious stuff, for years. This time I send her one screenshot and nothing else. The one where he threatens to cut me off if I do not respond. She calls within 30 seconds, whispering even though her kids are loud. What is this? She asks, breathing fast into her phone. I sit in the bathroom on the tub edge with the fan on. It is just him when he gets worked up, I answer weakly. She does not buy it for 1 second, not even half. This is not heated, this is scary, she insists, voice sharper now. She asks if he knows I reached out and I say no. That detail matters more to her than any other right then. Good, she says, calming down enough to think in clear steps. You have my couch if you ever need it, no questions asked. Hearing that makes my eyes sting harder than any argument ever did. She wants to drive over immediately, and I talk her down. I feed her the same lines I have been feeding myself. He is just insecure, it is complicated, I do not want a scene. Somewhere in there, I still feel guilty for making him look bad. That guilt kept me stuck way longer than fear, honestly. Before hanging up, she tells me to stash spare keys at her place. She offers to meet me near work one afternoon and swap envelopes. I agree to all of it, even the stuff that terrifies me. We plan like teenagers sneaking out, only this time the stakes are real. I go back to bed with a secret lifeline humming in my chest. Over the next week, my life splits into 2 parallel tracks. There is the obedient version that answers every ping on his screen. Then there is the quiet rebel who copies messages and hides receipts. I start using a voice memo app during our worst arguments at home. I hold the phone low by my side and let his words pile up. He notices that I am calmer and takes it as proof he was right. See how much smoother things go when you cooperate, he remarks one night. He thinks compliance means he fixed me instead of hitting my limit. I nod and tuck another recording into the folder on my laptop. On the outside I look small, on the inside something sharp is growing. The motel idea comes from the attorney during a follow-up call. You might need a safe overnight spot to move things around, she explains. Somewhere he does not know about, at least for one evening. At first I reject it outright because it sounds extreme and shady. Then he tracks my lunch again and flips when I spend extra minutes there. That afternoon he berates me on speaker while I sit at my desk. You are pushing me to the edge with this disappearing act, he rants. My coworkers pretend not to hear while I stare at my keyboard. I answer with the same calm tone I have been practicing for weeks. Inside, I am already on my phone booking the cheapest room nearby. I choose a motel near a busy highway so my car blends in. For the app story, I will be on a work training overnight. For reality, I will be one exit away with a suitcase in my trunk. I book it under my full legal name because I am too tired to hide. I tell myself this is just a trial run, not a full escape. The night before the reservation, I test my tracking trick once more. I move both devices to the same couch spot while he showers. Then I walk to the end of the block and back in the dark. When I return, he is on his phone, scrolling our location history idly. Look at us, he muses, homebodies lately, and my skin crawls. I lay out my clothes for work and tuck spare underwear in my bag. Every move feels huge, even though the objects are so ordinary. I hide a small stack of bills in the side pocket under tissues. If anyone else looked, they would see a regular tired woman packing. Only I know that the extra socks mean I do not trust tonight. When I finally lie down, sleep will not come no matter how I try. His arm is heavy across my back while he snores beside me. My eyes trace the shadow of my bag against the closet door. Tomorrow that bag goes into my trunk and then into some motel dresser. I breathe slowly and count the remaining hours like a prisoner with chalk. Morning hits and everything moves too fast and not fast enough. He complains about a client while I pour coffee and nod along. I mention the fake training casually, like it is no big deal. Do you really have to stay overnight? He asks, eyes narrowed. I shrug, mention team bonding, mention presentations, layer on boring details. He eventually grunts and checks the app, apparently satisfied with technology. I will keep an eye on you, he jokes, tapping his phone twice. I force a laugh and grab my keys before my courage sinks. Outside, the air feels different, charged with this secret plan. I start the engine and pull away from our place without looking back. At work, I park farther from the building than usual on purpose. I want room to slip away without walking past too many windows. My phone buzzes once with his good luck text for my training. I answer with a heart emoji because it costs me nothing outwardly. Inside, every little symbol feels like a crime scene marker. By late afternoon, my trunk holds my bag and my hidden sneakers. My coworkers wave as I leave, thinking I am heading to a hotel downtown. I drive instead toward the interstate exit that leads to the motel. As I pull into the lot, my heart tries to climb out of my chest. I park between two pickup trucks and kill the engine, hands shaking. Before I step out, I check the tracking app one more time. Both little icons show me still at home on the living room couch. I left the devices tucked under a cushion before work that morning. For once, the lie on his screen works in my favor. I slip my phone into my pocket and open the car door. The motel door latches behind me, and my phone lights up. Send a picture of your room, his message sits at the top. I do not even drop my bag before I lift the camera. I aim at the plain bed and keep the address card out of frame. If he notices the difference, this whole story jumps tracks tonight. I snap one shot and fire it off with a quick line. Already exhausted from this work thing, I type, adding a tired emoji. My thumb hovers, then I toss the phone on the nightstand. The air in the room feels thin and heavy at the same time. I know I will pick that screen back up within minutes anyway. His reply comes faster than the app can dim. Turn the TV on so I can hear it, he writes. I roll my eyes at nobody and hit the power buttons. Static chatter fills the space, proof for someone who is not here. Happy, I text, then drop onto the edge of the mattress. He calls instead of answering, and my stomach flips again. Walk me around, his voice snaps through the speaker instantly. I stand and give him a quick sweep of generic furniture. He stops me when I get close to the door number. Back up, he orders, I saw a sign just now. I freeze, then force a laugh that sounds thin even to me. Relax, it is just some emergency info, I mumble, stepping sideways. No one will even memorize where I am, I add, trying to sound light. He breathes hard on the other end like he just sprinted. People watch women alone in hotels, he mutters, half warning, half dig. When the call ends, I sit on the bed and finally exhale. The trackers at home show me safe on the couch, not here. To him, I am tucked under a blanket watching some boring conference rerun. Reality is this cheap comforter and my bag packed for anything. I suddenly understand how criminals must feel when they start a double life. I plug my phone into the wall and open my hidden email. All the screenshots I sent myself line up in unread rows. Threats, location demands, bank card intimidation, late-night rage paragraphs. I download them to a flash drive the attorney gave me yesterday. Every click feels like dropping one more brick on his throne. Then I open the folder with the recorded arguments and press play. His voice fills the room, sharp and bitter, calling me names. Even knowing it is a file, my chest tightens like he stands nearby. I skip through clips where he lists my locations hour by hour. It is brutal, but I need to know what I am carrying. I do something small that I am still proud of now. I write down what I want in simple, blunt bullet points. Safety space, my own bank account, 0 tracking without consent. The list looks ridiculous and basic, and somehow impossible. I sit there and stare at those words until my eyes sting. My sister texts a string of question marks around 8:30. "You there yet?" she adds right after, no punctuation this time. I send her a quick selfie from the motel bathroom mirror. I tilt the angle so no one can read the little soap label. "Yeah, nerve shot, we'll call tomorrow," I write, then add a heart. She answers with one line that hits harder than any speech. "If anything feels off, just come here instead, period." I read it 3 times while my hand rests on the sink. Having one door I can run to changes the whole map. For the first time all day, my shoulders drop half an inch. By 11 the room is quiet and my phone stays still. No extra questions, no surprise calls, no tracking screenshots. I lie on top of the covers and wait for fear to fade. Instead, my brain reruns every scene from the last year in loops. I keep staring at the chain lock like it might vanish. I must drift off at some point because the ringtone yanks me up. The screen says his name and the time reads 12:07 a.m. My heart bangs so hard it hurts my ribs when I sit up. I hit decline, then immediately feel sick for poking the bear. The phone buzzes again before I can lower my hand. I answer on the second round, voice rough and unsure. "Hello," it comes out more like a question than a greeting. "Where are you?" He demands, no hello, no pretense at all. "In my room," I reply, glancing around like I need to confirm. He laughs once, sharp and empty, and chills run down my arms. "That is weird," he drawls, "because you are not in the house." The words land like ice. Water straight through my spine. I stare at the phone charging on the table like it betrayed me. "You check the app," I push out, trying to sound confused. "Yeah, your little gadgets say you have not moved all night." He sucks in a breath and I can picture the smirk perfectly. "So that means you parked them somewhere and snuck off." My mouth goes dry because this was always the weak link. I reach for a lie and grab the first thing that appears. "I am in the hotel, what else would that mean?" He lets the silence stretch long enough that I almost hang up. Then he drops the piece I did not know existed. "Your car is at the Pinecrest Motel off the highway." My vision narrows to that one name and the dark window. "I am looking at the GPS right now," he adds, almost cheerful. For a second I cannot even form words, my tongue feels numb. "I moved the car for the group dinner," I finally stammer out. He snorts like that is the funniest thing he has heard all week. "Training is 2 towns over, Lily," I looked up the schedule. He says my name like an insult, not like someone he cares about. I realize then he never needed the bumper tracker or my waistband toy. He had something else tied to the car I never knew about. Insurance device, dealership app, whatever, it does not even matter now. What matters is he can triangulate me from 3 different directions. I feel cornered without a single hand actually touching me yet. "Stay right there," he says, calm and terrifying, "do not leave that room." The line cuts while I am still trying to form the word no. I stand in the middle of the bedspread, phone heavy in my hand. I think about grabbing my bag and bolting to my sister's. Then I picture him pulling into the parking lot as I run. In the end, fear beats logic and I lock the deadbolt tighter. I drag the small dresser in front of the door with shaky arms. The wood scrapes loud enough that the people next door hear it. I sit on the floor with my back against the bed frame. My phone glows on the comforter as message bubbles stack up. "You really think you are clever? Who are you meeting? You want to blow up our life for attention. Answer the door the second I knock." Every line pings my veins until I finally flip the ringer off. It does not stay quiet long though, not in the real world. 15 or 20 minutes later, heavy footsteps stomp down the walkway. A fist slams against my door so hard the chain rattles. Lily, open this right now. His voice cuts through the thin walls. He knows better than to yell my last name here, small mercy. I do not move, not even to breathe properly. I stay stone still. Another barrage of pounding makes the dresser tremble against the lock. Stop playing games, he barks lower now like he is bargaining. You want them to think I am some psycho chasing you. The irony of that line would be hilarious if it were not mine. Someone else speaks from the walkway, another voice deeper and wary. Sir, you need to step back from that door immediately. I creep closer and peek through the gap by the curtain edge. The night clerk stands there with a cordless phone clutched tight. Her jaw is set like she has dealt with this before. She is my wife, he announces, throwing his arms wide toward my room. She lied about where she is staying tonight. His words spill fast. Her location tracker is back home, her car is here, do the math. He thinks listing all that makes him sound reasonable. To me, it just sounds like a closing argument in the worst trial. The clerk keeps her feet planted and does not look impressed. You are scaring other guests, she replies, tilting the phone higher. I have dialed the police, they are on their way right now. He wheels on her like she just slapped him, cheeks flushed. You do not understand, she disappears, I have to check on her. I know this is my moment, messy and terrifying as it is. If I stay silent, it turns into his story before cops arrive. My hands shake while I slide the dresser back inch by inch. I unlock the chain and open the door just enough to be seen. Back away from my room, I say low and hoarse. He whips around so fast I catch the wild in his eyes. There you are, he breathes like I crawled out of a grave. You have no idea what you put me through tonight. He steps forward and I brace my foot against the inside wall. The clerk steps between us, small but stubborn, phone still raised. Sir, you need to keep your distance until officers arrive, she warns. You are not allowed to harass guests on the property. He scoffs and looks at me over her shoulder, eyes burning. Tell her I am not dangerous, Lily, show her the app. Tell her you let me track you because you know you lie. That line snaps something in me that fear could not touch. I straighten, pull the door wider, and let him see my phone. You are right about one thing, I say, voice oddly steady. I do lie, but Arnold. Why to keep you from tearing my life apart? His mouth opens, then shuts, then twists into something ugly. The squad car lights wash over the parking lot a minute later. Two officers step out and everything shifts toward official. He throws his hands up like he is already auditioning for sympathy. Thank God you are here, he calls, pointing toward my doorway. My wife is having some kind of breakdown, she needs help. I watch them glance between him, the clerk, and me behind her. Ma'am, are you okay? One of them asks, eyes on my face. It hits me that my answer carries more weight than any tracker. I grip my phone tighter and feel the flash drive in my pocket. I am not okay, I say, and my voice does not crack. They split up without debating, one staying near him, one near me. The one by my door speaks calm and clear like he has practiced this. Can you tell me what is going on tonight? He asks gently. I could start anywhere, but I pick the solid pieces. The devices, the messages, the threats about money if I do not respond. I open my album and show him the screen full of screenshots. Message after message about my location, my schedule, my supposed cheating. His eyes flick across the words while he tries not to react. Behind him, I can hear Mark still protesting to the other officer. He disappears from the map for 13 minutes and I am the crazy one. I tap the audio files next, the ones from kitchen arguments. I play a short clip where his voice spikes, calling me names. Another where he warns me not to ever remove the tracker again. The officer raises his brows once and glances toward his partner. Do you want to make a report tonight? He asks quietly. The word report feels huge and formal and final. Part of me wants to shrink back into the room and hide. Another part remembers the attorney circling pattern on her pad. Yes, I answer, surprising myself with how fast it comes. I already talked to a lawyer about leaving, I have proof. They move us apart even more while they take details down. One sits with me inside the doorway, notebook balanced on one knee. I give dates, examples, exact phrases burned into my brain. I mention the hidden car tracker I found in the garage weeks ago. He underlines that line 3 times and nods slowly. Outside, the other officer keeps Mark near the patrol car. I hear snatches of his defensive speech drift through the open door. She vanishes without warning. I pay for everything, I just protect us. Every excuse I have heard behind closed doors spills into the night air. Except now there is someone else listening who is not invested in liking him. At some point, the clerk brings me a bottle of water and a card. If you want to switch rooms later, we can try, she murmurs. I shake my head because I will not stay here after this. My hands are still trembling, but my voice gets more even. Talking about it out loud feels like cracking open a locked window. Eventually, both officers step inside together and shut the door behind them. Here is what we can do tonight, the taller one explains evenly. We can document this as a domestic incident and add your evidence. He talks about trespass warnings, protective orders, safety plans. My head spins, but in a way that finally leads somewhere. They offer to escort me to my car and follow me out. Another unit waits with Mark by the entrance while we pass. He calls my name once, like I might change my mind in the lot. I do not answer, but I meet his eyes for a second. He looks shocked, furious, and almost offended I did not crumble. Do you want him to know where you are going tonight? One asks. The question snaps me into the next decision faster than anything else. No, I reply, something hard settling in my chest at last. I am going to my sister's place. He does not get that address. The words taste new and right and terrifying altogether. They suggest I call her from the car before we move. By the time she picks up, my throat has gone thick again. I am on my way, I manage, voice breaking on the last word. She does not ask for details, not now, not over the line. Drive safe, I am leaving the door unlocked, she answers, ready. The officers tail me onto the highway, lights off but present. I check my mirrors more than the speedometer the whole drive. Every random set of headlights feels like it might be him. I keep the radio up just enough to drown my own heartbeat. Somewhere between one exit and the next, the panic shifts to resolve. Outside my sister's building, the patrol car slows, then peels away. I sit there for a moment with the engine still running. The urge to turn around and apologize to everyone almost chokes me. Years of smoothing over his moods do not disappear in one night. But then I think about that motel door and the pounding fists. I kill the engine and grab my bag from the passenger seat. My hidden sneakers thump against each other. As I step out, the night air feels colder here, sharper, like it expects something. Upstairs, her door opens before I even knock the first time. She pulls me into a hug so tight my ribs protest. I start to explain and dissolve into ugly crying halfway through. Snot shaking half sentences about applications and threats and motel walls. She guides me to the couch and pushes tissues into my hand. Whatever he is doing to your head, it stops now, she insists. Hearing that out loud feels like someone cutting a rope off my neck. We sit there for a long time while I unload in bursts. She does not try to fix it with inspirational quotes or advice. She wants practical steps, copies of files, names of officers. We list everything I have and everything I still need. By the end, we have more of a plan than I dared hope for. When she goes to bed, I am left alone with my bag. I dig through it until I find the waist tracker in the pocket. I forgot I slipped it in there before work, just in case. The small device lies in my palm, blinking like nothing has changed. For a second I consider smashing it against the coffee table. Instead, I walk to the guest room dresser and open the top drawer. I toss the tracker in, screen down, and cover it with socks. No ceremony, no speech, just a quiet burial for a noisy object. It still works technically, but it no longer owns my steps. I close the drawer on it and on the version of me who wore it.